Hey guys, Sean Zine, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor, and the host for the Network Marketing Insider, where we are bringing guests on and will provide some massive value and teach you, educate you, give you some tips and strategies to help you build your business. A lot of you are floundering. That's fine. Now it's just to try to find those items, a little nugget of information that you can actually implement. So talking about implementing, we're hoping that one, you're subscribing to this channel. Two, you're actually going to comment where you're watching from. And three, share from once in a while, every couple, drop on your favorite emoji so we know you're alive. And at the end, share this video. Before I bring on my guest, I want to make sure you check out Got Backup. It is a network marketing business. It's a service that everyone needs. 6 terabytes of storage for your phone, for your laptop, for your computer, for 6 separate accounts for $9.97 per month. You have resale rights. You can build a business with this, and it is incredible. One thing also I want to share with you, we're sponsored with our website, networkmarketinginsider.com, where you can find all of the prior podcast guests with their value that they brought. So please give some support. And if you haven't already, check out the NMI token. If you are interested in investing in crypto, that's where you could find some amazing information there. Without further ado, let me bring on my next guest, Joe Garcia. What's up, man?
I'm flourishing, Sean. How are you?
Doing fantastic. And I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to provide some value for us. I always ask the guests, who are you? And what do you, and why did you get into network marketing?
Well, as I was sharing with you, sometimes it takes me about 45 minutes just to answer one question. So I'm going to try to, answer this in the Coles Notes because of the time that we have here today. I am now celebrating my 31st anniversary in this industry. I actually got started in June 23rd, 1993. I was 5 years old. And this kid at 5 years old, I'm just kidding. I was in my early 20s. After graduating from university, I got an incredible job as a night manager at a fitness center, racquetball, squash, fitness. I had a pool, a bar, a restaurant. It was a multi-purpose facility. I worked myself up very quickly there to manage the whole property and did very well. It was a dream job until that point. And Christmas 1992, the owners of the company came to me and said, Joe, you've done such an incredible job, millions of dollars in profit. We're now able to sell and exit. And I said, excuse me? I was so excited over their praise of me, thinking that I was going to get some kind of profit sharing. And that didn't happen. The club was sold the next day. And I was left there with about $50,000 worth of paid bills, payables. And I stuck around for about a month just to make sure my friends were going to get paid in the transition. But I made a decision at that moment, Sean. I went home, told my wife I was never going to work for someone else. So I was newly married, just became a father. Can you imagine telling your wife you're never going to work again? Because I realized that moment that I was building someone else's dream instead of mine. And I knew working for someone else was going to reach the goals and the dreams that I had, back in my mind. I hadn't written them down yet, but I had that light inside me that everybody has that was burning red hot at that moment. And that was a defining moment in my life. And since then, I've never, ever worked for someone else again. So a few months after that, I'm in my local library. I'm planning to do, to do lots of things. I'm researching business. I've been going back to the library. I came home one afternoon after my local library, and I started to write down what I wanted my life to look like from that very moment, 10 years from that very moment. And that was a defining moment in my life because I fell in love with my dream. And the first thing on the list as I wanted to work from home. I wanted to be that dad, as the sun now appears through my window here. Sorry about that. I wanted to be that dad that was going to be there for their kids 24/7.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, working from home would be an incredible vision. And at the time in the 90s, nobody worked from home. That was not part of our
No.
vocabulary at all. And I went back to the library, and a month later, a gentleman walked up to me and introduced me to network marketing in the middle of a library, And eventually, a few months later, June 23rd, 1993, I was invited to an event. I brought my brother with me. We sat in the back of the room, just in case I need to take off very quickly. And I had one of those born again Christian moments that people talk about when they found God, find Jesus or whatever, right? I knew within a couple of minutes that this was going to be the vehicle to my dreams. And absolutely had no doubt. And that's how I got started in the industry.
Man, and it all starts with someone having an open mind. If you didn't have an open mind, it wouldn't lead you down that path. If it was, no, I'm not going to go to this seminar or this webinar or this event. If you missed that event that day, you wouldn't be where you're at today. So without taking a chance, which a lot of you watching right now, you're afraid of getting involved. And like Joe was saying, he wanted to have an at-home business to be home around his kids as well. But also you have some motivation you have to have, right? What makes you keep going when people are rejecting you during the day, Joe?
So I tapped into the secret to life, Sean, when I started to write down what my vision was for my life. When you fall in love with your dream, the universe must give it to you. And I was in love with my dream. I knew exactly what I wanted. When you have a dream, distractions will never take you out of the game. When you have a dream that you're in love with, fear and worry will not win you over. When you have a dream, your purpose is set in stone. And you have all the powers of the universe working for you to attain that dream. So, motivation is short term. And anyone that have gone to a seminar or a personal development seminar or motivational seminar and hear these speakers speak, you can get motivated for that day. But what's going to take you into that next week, that next month, that next year is your dream. You have to be very clear. I actually wrote a book on my system of manifesting that I have for free on my website, joegarcia.com, and shows step by step on how you can manifest your best year ever, your best your life ever. And it starts, number one, with being clear on what you want.
Why do you think a lot of people, and you're in Canada, and I'm in the US, a lot of people have massive fear and they get away from having that dream because they have to pay the bills. They have to have their 9 to 5. How do we help people get back into that train of thought of really, like, I guess one is writing down, like Joe was saying, writing down your dreams. You're going to be able to see it and manifest it over time. But what other ways can we get people to focus on dreaming again?
It becomes awareness. When you are aware, so ignorance is not bliss, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Ignorance in today's world will hurt you. And when you become aware in how the universe works, okay, science has proven our thoughts become things. Science has proven that everything in this world is made up of energy pockets, or what they call quantified particles. And science has now proven that each one of these particles has a brain attached to it, has a thinking substance attached to it, as Bob Proctor shared.
Mm.
And what happens when you think a thought and that thought is stacked over time, you fall in love with that thought like a dream. In a parallel universe, these quantum biparticles actually are paying attention. In a parallel universe, that thought is starting to be materialized in that parallel universe. And it becomes your universe, what we call a gestation period, which is time. And that's how things come into this world. So when you educate yourself in this area, you become aware thoughts do become things, and what you fall in love with and stacked over time will accomplish it. Then you start to do the things that you will need to do to accomplish that dream goal. So most people are living, Sean, on what I call default mode. Unfortunately, majority of us, everyone has been programmed.
Yes.
With regards to their beliefs. Okay, the religion that you're in, more than likely your parents were in that religion. Your great parents were in that religion. Your grandparents were in that religion. The political party that you vote for, more than likely your parents are voting for that political party. Your grandparents were. Okay, so all these beliefs that we have been primarily programmed us by our environment and society. So as we grow older, what we need to be aware of is a lot of these beliefs no longer serve us. Okay? And holds us back. And this is why people continue to struggle around the things that create a lot of the emotional beliefs, like money and how we live our lifestyle, which holds us back. These beliefs are holding us back from attaining our true freedom.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I know the mindset, your mind is a muscle. Just like everyone that's always focused on getting in shape, they're working out physically, they're running, they're going to the gym. You need to personally develop your mind as well by listening to podcasts, reading, getting other types of exercises to keep you sharp. And this allows you to, have more energy to get through your day because you are training your mind. But people forget. They go to high school and they graduate high school and they think, oh, I'm done, or go to college. And that's the last book I'm going to ever read. That's the beginning of a lifetime of self-development, I believe. So you're always going to be hopefully picking up
So
new things, right, Joe?
Here's the thing. When it comes to, 31 years ago, I decided that I would have a personal development business plan. Okay, so everyone, Sean, wants to make more money in life. Everyone wants material, for the most part, things that money will buy.
Right.
Unfortunately, we need money to go on vacation. We need money to travel around the world. It's our dream. We need money just to buy food. We need money to live. So if you're not where you are at today, because financially, it's not because of the government. Okay? The next president of the United States, for our American friends, will not come to your house and say, I'm going to make you wealthy. I'm going to change your life. No. We're always expecting things outside of us to change things. It has to change from within. So 31 years ago, I started a journey, 1 hour a day, of feeding my mind around prosperity, abundance, love, and hope. That's all I've been feeding my mind with, 1 hour a day. And why has that helped me? Well, it's like compounded interest. If you take a penny a day for a period of 30 days, it's going to be well over $1 million. Yes. Okay, that's called stacking. So when you stack education, feeding your mind, planting those great seeds, over time, that compound interest will change your life. You'll be more aware. You'll start to see things differently. You won't be as easily programmed from media and your family members and what's going around your environment. You start to see that, yes, I can become whatever I put my mind to. And that's what happened to me. On a scale of 1 to 10, when I got started, I was a -10. Believe me. Even though I managed people, I was young, and I needed a lot to learn. I was shy. My communication skills weren't there to get the results I wanted. So I knew that I needed to pour my heart, soul into personal development. So how do you eat an elephant? It's not through one big bite. You do it every single day. And I'll tell you why every single day is so critical. There was an experiment by NASA, North American Space Agency, 10, 15 years ago. And they took a bunch of astronauts in this experiment and put these concave glasses on these astronauts. So they had to wear these glasses 24/7. The challenge was, Sean, made them look upside down. Okay, so can you imagine living a life where everything you see is upside down? You can't walk, you can't function. So in that first experiment that every single astronaut 26 days in started seeing right side up with the glasses on. Okay, then they did a second experiment, different astronauts, but they changed it by 1 day. Day 16, they had to take the glasses off for 24 hours and then start again. In that second experiment, it took those astronauts an additional 26, 27 days to see side up.
Wow.
Yes, wow. This confirmed everything for me, because if you look into the experiment, if you were part of one of those astronauts, what would you be thinking? I can't wait till I get these glasses off. I can't wait till this experiment is done with this. This is driving me crazy. So all your thoughts are on your goal to function. So the brain developed enough neural pathways, the quantum biparticles, the energy pockets, to give you what you wanted. And 26 days later, that's what happened for everyone. On the second study, by changing it just 1 day, it started the cycle all over again. This is why, if you want to be successful in life, successful in network marketing, you have to have a daily plan where your open sign is open 24 hours. Sharing the product once a day, sharing the business once a day will change your life if you do it over a period of 2, 3, 4 years. Reading a book once a day, an hour a day, listening to the right information, an hour a day of prosperity and abundance. Over time, the stacking, you'll be like one of those astronauts. But by just missing 1 day, it starts to cycle all over again. So it's the consistency of these simple disciplines repeated over time that will make you win. And that's been my secret sauce. I've surpassed, I want to remain humble here because that's who I am. I've just surpassed all my mentors over the decades. I've built a massive global business now that's well over 1 million people in the last 21 years, with 23 years, sorry. Closing in now just under 3 billion in sales. I didn't get there by just snapping my finger. It was those simple little disciplines every single day that I started in 1993.
I like what Joe was saying as far as one thing, guys, it's not going to be overnight success in network marketing. It's going to take consistency over a period of time, 2 to 3 years. Oh, I don't have that time. We all have that time, but we need to drop those seeds, being consistent, working on ourselves. I like what you're saying. You're investing in yourself. You are making yourself better, 1% better every single day. You're going to be impressive over time because you're going to communicate better. You're going to be able to present. You're going to be more enthusiastic. You're going to be, more competent. And if you're more competent, you're going to be more confident sharing what you're doing on a consistent basis. Now,
100%.
You've had lots of success. Can you share a failure you had in this business early on or recently in this business?
Okay, now one thing you need to understand, Sean, for me, is all my actions over the last 3 decades. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't think of any failure because my mind does not go there. One of the things that I did when I first got started is I made a promise that I would never think of quitting.
Like this.
Burn my bridges. The great Napoleon, army general,
Yes.
and many generals after that have used this technique where they've gone in. He would go into these countries by ship. He would burn the ships after the troops left the ship. Why? Because he knew the power of commitment. One of the challenges that we have in society today is people don't understand our word is the only power that we really have. Do you remember with your parents, Sean, and our grandparents, that if they would lend some money to people, they knew those people would give them back the money?
Right.
Because of their word. They didn't need to sign a contract because people of that generation and this culture was all about your word was the most important. And today you probably need to sign 3 or 4 contracts to see if someone would pay you back, right? Because we have lost the concept of commitment and your word. So when I gave myself a word that I looked myself in the mirror and I would never even think about quitting, that empowered me. That made me a top percenter right away. Because average people never make commitments in their life. And when someone tells you, I'm going to try to make it to that meeting, I'm going to try to do the business, 100% try means no. I know in your day job, Sean, you're a gym teacher.
Yes.
And when your students say, I'm going to try to do this, they're not going to make it. It's not going to happen. So try is at worst 3-letter word in the English language. So I made that commitment to myself and my wife that I would never think about quitting. And that gave me that superpower, which allowed me to become unstoppable. I didn't look at my mistakes as failures.
Right.
I didn't look at when people disappointed me as a failure or where things were destroyed because of betrayal, which happens in human drama, right? I didn't look at that. I just looked at it as experience, and I didn't do it again, or I learned from it so I could become better.
I like that angle. You reflected on an experience so it won't happen again. And that's what a lot of people should be doing. But there's people that are stuck in a rut and they just go over and over the same thing. It's like, wow, at some point you have to learn from your mistakes so it doesn't happen again. Well, when you figure that out,
Yeah.
Life does change for you.
Average people think that their lives are going to be changed by doing the same thing. Some miraculous thing, right? You're seeing it in the U.S. again. I'm sorry, going back to the politics.
Yeah.
But people really believe a new president is going to change their life. No. And we've got, it's not going to change your life. We have to start taking ownership of our lives and teaching people the truth. And luckily in my 20s, I realized that no one's going to come and help me and my family as much as I will help myself and my family.
You are 100% correct. There's not one president since I've been alive that has showed up at my house for a birthday party, for my daughter's liverversary. My daughter, when she was 4 months old, had a liver transplant. How come the president didn't send me his regards? We're not that And that brings to light a lot of truth. And if people really stop and thought about it, it's we put everything onto others. We have to start having our ownership of ourselves so we could become more successful. And like you said before, being consistent and having those commitments to you, your whys, will change your direction.
100%.
And it's something that I just hope that people that are out there, you take that ownership. And when you were first starting out, right now you probably don't have to worry about prospecting because you have a big network, literally
Okay,
network.
let me
You
stop.
have that network.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let me stop you there, Sean. That's not correct. So
Okay.
here, the greatest leaders in our business always lead by example.
Yeah, I
So
love
I have
this.
really big dreams. I want to create my company that I'm in. It's a founding distributor, a legacy company. We're now in our 23rd year. Oh, so I need to lead from the front. I need to lead. I need to have people watch my feet, not my mouth. I'm probably the number one enroller in my company still today. I'm always leading because that's how great you continue to lead people through your feet. Because eventually, what happens, people stop listening to you, anyways. You know that you never master
Yes.
back. In a lot of cases, they tune you out. So you got to lead constantly because we have too many leaders. Again, I don't want to judge anybody. That's their experience, that's their life. But they're going up on stage. There's coaches in the industry who are doing that. They're going up on stage and teaching things that they did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Yes, let's applaud the great success. But what are you doing today? I look at all my success I've had, especially the last 2 decades, and it's been remarkable, an incredible blessing. The experiences I've lived, traveling up to more than 60 countries, the people I've met, it's a dream. But that's in the past. I leave that in the past. I'm focused on what I'm doing right now and in the future. Because let's face it, nobody cares what you've done yesterday or especially 10 years ago.
Right.
And instead of you, and if you're constantly living in the past, you never can go forward, as you know. So I remember one of my first events I went, and the speaker was saying, always remain humble. And always search for a bigger dream. When you accomplish the next dream, go to the next dream. Always remain humble. And I've consistently acted that way.
I am glad that you corrected me. And I was hoping you would correct me because, yes, you should, if you are a leader, you should not ever just become complacent because we know how this business can be. People fall off. So you need to always be leading from the front, like Joe was saying, and never take time off. And once you're complacent, be complacent when you're dead. You don't need to be complacent when you're alive because you're going to continue on you're building a legacy. And that's something that people have to really focus on. And if they are with personal development, you're going to see massive change. I want to thank Joe for dropping some major gems, great stories. Any final thoughts you can give to us? You're
Finish your question.
Yeah.
Finish the question, Sean, on the prospecting. I think it's important. You had a thought there, so I want to make sure that you finish that thought.
With prospecting, were you making phone calls, doing messengers, doing events? What was a way of you getting more opportunities to get lead generation, if you will?
That is a $1 billion question because everyone's asking, how do I develop more leads? It's easy. It's easier today than ever. Back in the 90s, we had to, there was very limited ways that you can reach out to people, and to reach out to people globally, we didn't have the social media. So it brought us that we needed to really hone a lot of the basic skills to succeed in enrolling people. Today, I think it's become even more, because there's so much information out there, so many ways that you can develop leads, that it's gotten people lazy and not developing the skill sets. How to speak to someone, how to contact and invite. What are the right way of contacting and inviting? So, for example, a simple contact and invite. Most of us are leading with the direct approach. Hey, Sean, this is Joe. Do you have a minute? I've got an incredible opportunity that I'd like to share with you. Would you be open to taking a look? You're always looking to make more money. So that approach rarely works for anybody, because it takes someone with credibility. So if I had a lot of credibility in your eyes, you'd probably say, okay, I'm going to take a look. But if we were at the same level or no credibility, you would, does Joe know about the business? Because I'm triggering your sales filter.
Yes.
So we all have to understand that we all have sales filters. Okay. You may think, Joe, I don't have a sales filter. Okay. When you walk into a store and you want to buy something, but the salesperson comes up to you and says, can I help you? What are you going to say? Just looking.
No, I'm just looking.
Yep. Because we love to buy things, but we hate to be sold. So I learned early on that how to contact and invite properly. So you may go out and develop 20 leads, and we're talking to the same person, 20 people, but I'll have better results than you and the 20 people, because I know how to contact them. And so what we have to do is learn how to bypass the sales filter so we can get to their heart. So one of the ways that you can get to people's heart, to find out what's really important to them, is ask them, what is it that they want more of in life? Or what is it that they want less of in life? And people will tell you, oh, Joe, yes, I'm dealing with this health challenge right now, and I've tried everything. I've seen the doctor, whatever it is. And you now know you can, if you have health products, focus on a solution for them. They will listen because now you're bypass the sales filter. If they're saying their husband's not making money, and their kids now, they're complaining, the females complaining about babysitting, and paying for babysitters, and she'd love to work from home. Now you know what to focus on. You can approach it that way. For example, I met a random business person. Actually, she was a manager of a bank at a Starbucks. She brought in 3 kids under the age of 5, which were her kids. She seemed flustered. It was packed at the Starbucks. I'm sitting down just on my iPad, and the seats were available. She asked me, all flustered, can my kids sit down? Because I just come in here for a coffee, for a phone call. She was waiting. And we got into a conversation. I asked her what she did for a living, why she was having a hard day. She said, my babysitter just canceled. I'm a manager up the street of a bank. And I'm just waiting because I got to find a babysitter, right? And then eventually she asked me what I did for a living, because I asked her what she did for a living. Okay, so knowing what I already know from her, I said, I work with professional women like yourself, and I teach them how to make full-time income, double and triple the income that they're making, that their husband is making full-time, so they can spend time with their kids at home. And don't need babysitters. And she says, excuse me? She had it already. So, because I knew that she wanted to stay home with her kids, because she told me, and she had all these challenges centered around that. She said, excuse me, can I learn more? And I said, well, this is not the right time. I got to go, but why don't we exchange business cards? So I gave her my business card, which is another tool that everybody should have, with my picture on it, with my company name, not the network marketing company, my personal company, and the markets I do business around the globe. And she took it, and I said, I'll give you a call in the next couple of days and maybe we could sit down and I'll share more details with you. She called me back that night and left a message. Didn't wait. And we sat down. She eventually enrolled, and doing very well. So here's what she told me. She said, Joe, if I knew this was network marketing, because many of my friends have pitched me over the years, but I've always said no. That because of the way that you shared with me the business and the contact invite, I saw another way. So contacting and inviting is crucial to meeting with someone, to getting them to first base. Another one, we have this product called the 30-minute facelift. And
I want to save that for another day because we're gonna.
Yeah.
We're
so,
running out of
but
time today.
I'm just for someone that's with beauty, just quick. I know what time. And so one of my approaches with women is I work with a group of doctors, develop the world's first 30-minute blah blah facelift. Every single time I get the wow, does that work? It's because the way I am feeding their heart, So anyways, these strategies.
The choice of words is very key. Yeah.
Communication is very key. Very key. So to answer your question about prospecting, I always recommend people use at least 3 ways to reach out. There's several successful strategies that you can use in social media that I teach, which is a game changer. And there's some offline strategies too that I've taught for years that work. And that's for another time. I can get into recruiting strategies if you wish.
No, hey, we're gonna definitely have you back on. All of Joe's information is in the description. Please follow him on all his socials. Go to his website and make sure you mention that you saw him on the podcast. And I want to thank Joe for being with us today and everyone else. And Joe, stick around for one moment. Everyone else, we hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
See you, everyone. Take care.